Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Lisa Greene-Lewis, a CPA and tax expert for TurboTax. Thank you for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Well, lots of things are new this year when it comes to taxes. Got new features in TurboTax, different editions. But first of all, an overall view here, a lot has changed in terms of the tax code, I suppose.
Um, yes, it has. There was the almost doubling of the standard deduction, as well as some tax deductions were either eliminated or reduced. And because of that, TurboTax, we are estimating that about 90% of taxpayers will now claim the standard deduction instead of taking the itemized deductions. Like, for instance, if you're a homeowner and have mortgage interest or property taxes.
It just makes more sense for a lot of people to do it that way. And how does TurboTax come into play in terms of helping people decide? Step us through a little bit.
So with TurboTax, what we've done with the changes in the tax laws, we really worked on tax reform guidance, and that guidance is up front when you do your taxes. So instead of making customers put in a lot of information that they may not be able to use on their tax return or may not be able to now take those expenses like we talked about, we ask them up front, like some of those key deductions that you get if you itemize your deductions, like charitable contributions or, your property taxes. And then we calculate on the back end whether or not you're going to now claim the standard deduction. So you're not going through screens and entering that information. And then also we put into place tax reform guidance. So throughout the program, if there's something that changed in your tax situation, we have explanations of how it changed in relation to tax reform guidance. And then also we've created a lot of free tools that help our customers understand how tax reform impacts them.
Interesting. Now, because of more people taking the standard deductions, does that mean they're getting through their taxes more quickly?
You could possibly. That's why we put those key questions up front for taxpayers, so they're not going through more screens and entering that information to find out that they no longer can take the itemized deductions, or they'll no longer benefit from it.
And streamlining things is one thing that TurboTax has always strived for. And you're doing even some other new things this year. For instance, there's the driver's license barcode scan.
Yes, that's a really cool feature. One of the free features that we have that allows you to eliminate data entry. So you use your mobile device and you scan over the driver's license barcode, and it can pull your key information from your driver's license into your tax return, and then you don't have to enter that information.
Well, tell us about some of the other new features and in some of the different editions that you have out this year.
Yeah, so we have our TurboTax Live that allows you to connect live via one-way video to a CPA or enrolled agent, and they have an average of 15 years experience. And then they're also available in English and Spanish as well. And for, if you want, that additional confidence, they can review, sign, and file your return as well. And then in addition to that, now we don't close on April 15th as far as our availability with our tax experts. Our TurboTax Live CPAs and enrolled agents, they're available year round. So, people come up with questions all year round regarding their tax situation. I received more money this year. How should I adjust my withholding? Or I am, supporting a relative. What will that do to my taxes? So they can call year round and ask those questions if they use TurboTax Live. And then also we've added an offline expert review. So sometimes taxpayers may not want to talk to someone via one-way video and talk to them live. They may want to schedule an appointment or also have the tax expert just review their documents offline without being live. So they have that opportunity as well.
And that's available both on a desktop and mobile?
Yes, TurboTax Live is available on mobile as well.
And if people opt not to go for the live function to have the CPA available, obviously you have other editions as well. One simply called TurboTax, right?
Right. So we have, our TurboTax, no matter what your tax situation is. If you have a simple tax return, you can use our TurboTax free edition, and you can file your federal and state taxes for free. All the way up to if you're self-employed, we have TurboTax Self-Employed, and it is specifically designed for the close to 60 million self-employed taxpayers out there.
There are an awful lot of people who are self-employed today, and are there differences in terms of the features between TurboTax and the TurboTax Free Edition? What should people know?
So the TurboTax Free Edition, now this year, it includes some of the same features as our other editions for free. So you have the opportunity to import your prior year tax returns, and even if you use another tax service, you can import your tax information, eliminating data entry. We also have the free tax reform guidance in our free product. We also have free audit guidance. Less than 1% of taxpayers are actually audited, but in the event that you receive some type of letter or something and you have a question, you can get free audit guidance from our tax professionals.
And with the self-employed edition, you also have the ability to consult with a CPA. It has a live function?
Yes. So all of our products, no matter if you have a simple return all the way up to self-employed, you can now talk to our TurboTax Live CPAs and enrolled agents. So someone that has a simple return, they can talk to a TurboTax Live CPA or enrolled agent for as low as $49, $49.99.
Sounds like a good deal. For more info,
yes,
where can folks go?
They can go to turbotax.com.
That's predictable too. Lisa Greene-Lewis, thanks for taking the time with us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C-Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C-Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C-Crane.